We're about to take it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Tony and Lee on the radio. Dr. Joe's therapy on the radio. The love doctor going live on the radio. Two mics and a mind on the radio. Radio, turned up 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 on the radio. Two mics and a mind. Two mics and a mind. Two mics and a mind. Two mics.
Watch this.
And a mind.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Oh, welcome to Two Mics in the Mind. I am Tuli, one of your hosts, and I'm joined with the other host, the Love Doctor. How you doing tonight?
You know what, Tuli? Why do you call me the Love Doctor? I'm just curious. Why do you call me that?
Because it's on the screen. Not because you have love and you know, you're the doctor of love. You have,
Tuli, ain't you the one that gave me that name?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just curious. You know, oftentimes people giving names. I'm just curious, why did you give me that name?
It's just a glimmer of hope.
A glimmer of hope. Well, I appreciate the glamour.
Yes.
I definitely appreciate it. How you week been going, girl?
Everything has been well. I've been doing little different things, here and there. But yes, everything is, I have no complaints.
Anything special, or shall I say out of the ordinary?
Let me see, what happened out of ordinary today? This week. No, not I gotta think of, I guess as we continue to talk, I might think of something, but right now, I can't remember.
Oh. Well, I see we got Resident Joe up here. What's up, Resident Joe?
Hello, guys. How's everyone doing?
Oh, listen, I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. What more can I say?
I can't.
I changed the background. I end up trying to change, the background temporarily. What I've been doing is
Trying.
I'm leaning on I got back support for my back and all that stuff. I was just spending some time doing a little construction work and all that stuff. It's been turning out real good.
That's what happened. The bathroom caused that.
Hey, listen. The bathroom. We are at 90% completed. Oh yeah.
Okay. Did you take a picture?
And it's not gonna fall apart.
I ain't take no picture.
Oh gosh.
Cause at 90%, y'all might as well just wait till we 100% complete. Then I'll show y'all on a tour.
Okay.
This right here is something that I decided to take on and do a lot of myself. A lot of this stuff, I had a knowledge on how to do it. It's just always about the time and all that stuff. And this right here, just a little task. I was like, you know what? Let me just take it on myself. A little here, a little there, a little. If I want somebody else to do it, I bring, over a special trade or something like that. But you
heard Tony last week.
Oh, you know what? You know what? As a matter of fact, I may have a bathroom bash party. You know what? That's what I might do. I might have a house party just to showcase the bathroom. Tuli's been to my house party before. Tuli, tell them about the house party I throw. Tell them about it.
Yes. You used to throw great house parties. You just gave
She loves you.
Listen, when I throw a house party, listen.
He didn't do
the
it.
whole block, down the street, everywhere. Oh yeah.
You're gonna do a lot.
On a consistent basis. Oh yeah.
Host, that was it. No other work was done. Just hosting.
You know what? I might have to have a house party for the unveiling.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Have it in a week.
Yeah.
Hey. And you know what? We at 90% right now. So that's very well possible.
Okay.
That is very well feasible indeed.
I'm
doing is just relaxing though. Just if anybody, if I can do it, then y'all can do it too. And the whole purpose of me doing this because I know there's some kids out there that's watching right now that want to do their own bathroom. And I'm doing this. I'm suffering through this whole process for those kids out there. If I can do it, then you can do it too. This one's for you, kids.
But I will say it is great that you not only that you have the talent, that you believe yourself, but the fact that you took the time, because we can always get wrapped up in anything. So
That's
you
true.
carved out this time and said, boom, no, I'm going to focus on doing that. So I applaud you for that.
Even if his back is hurt, I do have to.
Well, it's not, for the record, my back is not hurt. It's more so along the lines of I have a massage therapist and she's been out. She has me spoiled. She goes to get me on a routine basis.
Oh, wow.
But she has been out the entire month. She
What?
won't start back until October, which is
Oh,
only a couple
wow.
of days from now. So I already got me an appointment where she got to take care of me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because these hands, you know, it's been a lot going on. These cuts and scratches.
She don't
Let me
do that
see.
though.
Huh?
Massage therapists don't do scratches and cuts.
You know what? And speaking, if
Ooh.
y'all can see that, can you see that cut a little bit?
See that? Yes, we see that. Mhm.
They
Yep.
do say that, you know, men have to have their hands rough, and they do say that. So
Right there on the knuckle.
maybe
Can y'all
somebody
see that?
calls in.
Y'all see that right there on the knuckle?
Yes, we
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, I've been having to get it done. We've been getting it done. But you know what? Let me tell you something. I need to say this publicly. About a week ago, I had the absolute worst splinter in my finger. Oh, it was so troubling. Oh my goodness, it was so troubling. Listen, let me tell you something. Cause I work in that bathroom, I ended up getting a splinter. Let me tell you something. Oh, my sleep, oh, the pain, the agony. I was trying to find somebody to call, somebody who come through in the fourth quarter. Did you know Tula came through in the fourth quarter for me?
Of course she did.
She came through. Tula, how is it at the right time, her timing be on point. You know what I'm saying? When you need her.
Aww,
Sometimes you
I
can't
don't have
find her,
her
but when you
here.
need it, it's critical. Bam, she right there for you. And she got the right supply. Tula, how was you able to make that happen, Tula?
Tweezers. Number one, having tweezers. That's number one. He was so scared. Oh,
Why?
he was so scared. His whole hand was shaking. He was so scared. I was like, oh my gosh, but I didn't want to bring it. But he was so, I had to hold his hand with pressure just to get that little bit of splinter out. He was
Why were
so
you scared?
nervous. I understand. That's what
Tuli.
That's what I'm here
for. Because people try to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? My whole life, people they see the handsomeness, and when they see the handsomeness,
you always ruin it. It's like it starts really good, and then it's just like kind of like the bathroom. It collapses. You start really good.
Oh, you got jokes. Oh, you got jokes about the bathroom.
Remember your life. I just saying.
She got jokes about the bathroom. Oh, that's good. That's
you start
good.
so good though, and then you just mess it up.
But speaking of messing stuff up, you about to mess stuff up too, ain't you?
What?
Yeah, when I go to Georgia.
Joe, don't you got an announcement that you're gonna make this show?
I am gonna make an announcement. I'm gonna make an announcement with you together. We're gonna make it today. Today is the day.
So for those those people who didn't get to join us last week, what we challenged Dr. Joe to do is we challenged Resident Joe to always make certain she could come up with these little sayings. She came up with these sayings last week. She came up with some sayings last week, and she had a saying at the she said at the beginning of the show, but she also said at the end of the show. And it was so good that I said, you know what, we got to get you to do another one. So I'm hoping that this week she'll have another good saying. Why are you looking so surprised there, Resident Joe?
Life is like like. All right, life is like a blister. If you don't take out that hurt or that stick in your life, you are not moving forward without pain. That's the trauma in your life. Blister. The trauma is a blister. You got to stick it out, take it out so you can walk freely. And people can help you, like Tuli. Therapists help you. There you go. That's my saying for today. Moving forward.
Sum it up. Seek therapy.
Life is like a blizzard. just go to Dairy Queen and get the strawberry one.
With chocolate.
Ew.
Speaking of blizzards and chocolate, y'all know what's going on in Florida right now, right?
Yes,
Anybody got relatives in Florida?
I do.
Oh, what about your people?
I talked to my people.
And what? Are they good?
Yeah, they good. Right now they're out of electricity. They don't have electricity. So
Yeah.
when I talked to my mom earlier on the cell phone, it was just a real quick conversation because she's trying to preserve her battery life for her phone because you don't know when it's gonna ever come back on. So
Yeah.
yeah. But
It's bad.
she told me the storm was pretty bad. Last night she sent me a photo of her and my dad. It was a hilarious photo. So there's trees on one side of the house. So what they did is that's their bedroom is on the side of the house where the trees at. So they moved and they didn't sleep in their bedroom because it was away from the trees. They say it was thundering and lightning so much that it sounded like some of the trees were actually gonna fall.
It's
They said it
smart.
was
You
that
know, you
loud.
never know.
Yeah. My mom, she was like, I heard something. Something fell back there, a tree or something. She was
Yeah.
like, the sound of the wind is woo, woo. You know that loud noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that noise again? Say it again, Resident Joe. Let's hear that sound effect again.
Oh man. But yeah, it's dangerous. I have family there too. They lost light. We pray everyone's doing fine out there. It's dangerous. How about in
Yeah.
Georgia? How's that going? I heard it's going to Georgia too, right?
Tula, how's it going in Georgia?
It's cool. The weather's cool. The weather's cool. We have the wind. The winds were high today. High winds. They were shaking the car, and it was cool outside. It felt really good to me. Some points were good. So start
Well,
out.
you need to be careful. You need to be
Yeah.
careful, Tula.
Oh yeah, I definitely do that. You know that.
Yeah. I heard that there's a possibility the hurricane, some of the after effects might come up your way in Georgia.
I don't know how far, but I think Savannah was expecting something. I don't know if they got it or not, but as far as
it's looking bad.
there's gonna be another one though for them.
I remember growing up in Florida. So since I grew up in Florida, I remember hurricanes like the back of my hand. And I remember every summer when the hurricanes would come, I was just like, you almost start getting used to them. The majority of my childhood memories of hurricanes was, I hope it's gonna come here. I hope it's gonna come here. I hope it's gonna come here. And it always got sidetracked. And you just be it's a letdown.
It never
happens. You a child. A
happens.
hurricane is like a celebrity. You want it to come so you can see it, and then it just never come. You find out, it didn't come. It didn't come to my town. It just missed it by a hair. You like, man.
But it's good. But isn't it never been this bad in Florida, right? Like it's usually mild, never this bad. I've never heard of it being this bad. I've seen videos.
So I remember, I think it was back in 2006, 2007. I don't know. People out there in Radio Land, if you can find it. I remember I was there and there was like 3 back-to-back hurricanes, and it literally rained for 3.5 weeks straight. And when I tell you the place flooded, it flooded to the point where like the interstate, you would see alligators on the interstate simply because it got up that high. So Joshua Smith just posted a comment. He said 2006 Hurricane Ivan. So
that's why you guys eat a lot of alligators, because you guys have them everywhere.
Ew.
They eat them too, and they fry them, and it's just nasty.
My husband had some alligator before.
I think
they offered me once. I was like,
there was a total like 3 of them that were back to back, so it might have been Hurricane Ivan, but it was like two or three more of them, and they all hit like 3 hurricanes in 3 weeks or something like that. And I remember it rained so bad, and I remember because I was an engineer. And part of my jurisdiction was this place called Crane's Roost Lake. It's like a very upscale lake. And I remember that thing flooded. And it's just amazing. All these places where you see lakes and stuff, to see them flooded so high. I was like, wow, this is really, really interesting to see all this stuff. It's like really, really interesting. Oh, yeah. But no, that being said, anybody out there in Florida who watching, y'all be careful, y'all be safe out there. You know what I'm saying? And I've been watching a bunch of videos, a bunch of interesting news clips. That's really, really caught my attention. I'm pretty sure it caught y'all attention too. But other than that, Tuli Resident Joe, what y'all got planned for us today?
We don't know. How do they name these hurricanes? I don't know how they name them.
So
Whoever
I know the answer to that
finds it.
question. I know the answer to that question because I was in school and we asked that question and actually found out. You can Google it, but there's a hurricane center place that literally names all the hurricanes for like the next 5, 6, 7 years out. Where they
That's not.
select the names. Oh yeah.
I thought it was different. I thought that it was that whoever finds this, whoever discovers this hurricane, whoever works in the weather industry, they name it after that person.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me Google that.
Yeah, let's Google it. That's what I thought. The people that work in the weather and they work in discovering hurricanes and all that, they name it after them. That's what I thought it was.
There is a hurricane committee at the United Nations World Meteorological Organization, WMO, decides on a list of tropical storm names as a part of its annual meeting. So they have a meeting and they decide they get the names, I guess. Interesting.
Oh my goodness, this thing gets deep.
And they try to do it to the names are familiar to a specific region. So
this thing right here gets really, really deep. I just found a really, really interesting article. Oh my goodness. I don't know if y'all want to see this.
What are they saying?
So what it says is the World Meteorological Organization retires tropical cyclones name and end the use of Greek alphabet. So I'm thinking that some of the names had some sort of Greek origin to it or something. I don't know.
So they stopped.
Interesting.
And this article came up on March 17th, 2021. Hurricane names.
What was the Greek names they used?
There's a list. Somebody in the comment section, if y'all can find that list. I remember because my teacher posted the actual list. They literally have a list of names for like the next 3-4 years out. And obviously it's alphabetical. They start every year over with the alphabet, so everything is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all that stuff, all the way further down. But there was literally a list.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
Very.
Oh yeah. So it's always some weird information and all that stuff out there. But here it is. I found the list. Damn. Y'all ready to see it? Drum roll too. I need you to get a drum roll effect, okay? Hey. So here we go. The tropical cyclone's name is called the National Hurricane Center and Central Pacific Hurricane Center, whatever that is. But here are the names. Look, they make the list all the way from 2027. So 2022, and they all in alphabetical order. They go all the way down from A to W.
So look for the last one for 2022.
It'll be Walter. What's the name of the hurricane now in Florida?
Ian.
IAN.
I don't remember though. I don't remember Hurricane Danielle, Hurricane Colin. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So these are hurricanes all throughout the Atlantic. So you might only recall the ones that actually hit Florida or came up through Georgia. But remember, there was just one that hit Puerto Rico, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Maybe that was Hermine.
But they have keep in mind too, these are cyclones, names of cyclones. So tropical cyclones. So technically they have to get to a certain category before they're considered a hurricane per se. But as long as they're tropical depressions and stuff, these are still the names. So Tula, maybe that's why you haven't heard of all the different names. Some of these, because some of them might have only made it to be a tropical depression and not quite a hurricane. But that's how they get their names and all that stuff. Yeah, I think I remember hearing about Fiona earlier this year. Yeah. So there it is. That is some important information. That's good information to know, ain't it? That is good information to know. That's good information to know indeed. Oh my goodness. Look at these comments going off. These comments are really, really interesting.
What are they saying?
Well, I'll post one of them. One of them says that they have a set of list of names, and when they run out, they would name them after Greek alphabet. Danielle was within the last few months. So yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Valerie Clayton says that Fiona just passed.
Does she mean dad?
Yeah, I think is that what she talking about? A relative just passed?
It's her aunt, Fiona.
You know, it says that at first, the storms were exclusively given females' names. Why? Why exclusively female names?
Now,
We
I
come
could
to
answer
destroy.
that question for you, but I ain't touching it. I ain't touching it.
That's what it says. Look, at first, the storms were exclusively given female names, partly to continue the tradition in sailors, and then eventually they changed that. Why females? Why they have to attack us like that?
Why do they have to attack females?
This is
That is a good
specifically
question.
the New Yorker reported. This is an article saying that that's what they did, exclusively
And this
female.
started in 1978, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, exclusive, just exclusive. So in 1979, they included men's names.
Yeah, then they were like, all right, they are also storms and
You know, hey,
How does that make y'all feel?
that people need to get informed a little bit more about.
that's not offensive to me. I mean, hey, some women can, you can, we can take you down, take you out. That's true. Now we got that power because it is.
Some women are earthquakes. Like,
Yes, sir. Them quiet storms. Yeah, now.
that's right.
Hey, I'm letting y'all do all the talking. I'm letting y'all do all the talking indeed.
You
on that. I
gotten
ain't touching
wiser.
that.
He's gotten wiser. Look at that. He said he's not gonna say any comment about this female situation. Either he's gotten wiser or somebody made him change his mind.
Hey,
Or
well, I mean,
Which is great.
do y'all feel
I'm
like
very
it's
proud
an
of you.
attack or something?
on us, no. I don't feel attacked. I don't feel
No,
attacked.
not at all.
What do y'all feel about the whole women's liberation movement and all that stuff? Are you guys supportive of women?
What you mean?
Especially in particular women in leaderships and politics?
Yep, support it.
You are? What about you, Resident Joe?
It all depends. I don't think I'm like supportive into a particular group of people. I think it's whoever is doing a good job. If it's a woman doing a great job, then okay. To me personally, as a president, I wouldn't want a woman president. I know a lot of people would attack me on that area, but I feel like women are a little bit more emotional than men. And when it comes to decision making, we do need a man to be like, all right, this is the decision we're making, rather than having those emotions and involving emotions into decision making. But when it comes to other areas like representing a state, why not? I feel like if you are doing a great job and you're smart, then go right ahead.
Ooh, well, since you brought that up, in terms of representing the state and all that stuff, they're doing a good job. I want you to take a look at this. Does anybody recognize this picture? And if you do recognize this picture, what does it mean to you? Oh yeah, see, Resident Joe, Thule, talk to me, Thule.
What does it mean? Nothing. It means
So for all those people who don't know, this is actually a picture of Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams, for you who don't know, she is running for the position of governor in the state of Georgia. She's running against the current governor, whose name is Brian Kemp. Isn't that right, Thule?
Correct.
So what she's trying to do is Stacey Abrams is trying to get, according to her, the black male vote to help support her so that she can win. The question is that she was recently in a town hall meeting and she had an opportunity to be asked questions.
Mm.
And one of the questions she talked about was reparations. And as an exclusive, to, right here only on two mics and a mind, we were actually able to get one of our own to do a sit down with Stacey Abrams and ask her a question.
But
And
you
we
know,
were going to explore that.
why are we doing that?
Huh?
You know he's not on here.
I'm building up the hype. He's coming.
I know. Come on.
He's coming. But before we get to that, Tuli, we must first talk about reparations, what it means, what it is, all that other good kind of stuff. So before we get into that conversation about reparations, I want people to really understand what reparations is, because the average one of us, we really don't understand what reparations is. So what I want to do with you guys, if you don't mind, I want to share with y'all something really quick. And then I'm going to invite others on. I want you to call into the show. I want you to do all that good stuff. As a matter of fact, before we even show that video, Tuli, tell them what they need to do.
They need to hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App.
Yeah. Resident Joe, tell them what they need to do, Resident Joe.
Cash up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Y'all make sure y'all
Support
hit that
us.
Cash App.
Subscribe.
That's what y'all got to do. I want y'all to take y'all time, and I want y'all to hit that doggone Cash App. That's what I want y'all to do.
Like and
But what I want to do is I want to share with y'all something really, really interesting that I thought you might find a little interesting too. So let's take a look.
Wow.
Montana's Little Shell Tribe decades long effort to win federal recognition now heading to President Donald Trump's desk. Today, the U.S. Senate gave final approval to a major defense funding bill. It included Little Shell recognition as an amendment. The House passed the bill last week. Senators Steve Daines and John Tester and Congressman Greg Gianforte all worked for years to get the Little Shell's recognition through Congress. Once the bill becomes law, the tribe will be entitled to federal support and benefits through the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Indian Health Service, and other agencies. Tribal Chairman Gerald Gray said he's thankful this effort is finally moving forward.
It's an exciting day because, one, our future generations won't have to take up this battle that we've been fighting for so long. It's truly amazing, and we're very excited and very, very appreciative to our delegation.
Daines and Tester say once the president signs the bill, they want the federal government to quickly start working with the Little Shell to make sure they're treated like any other tribe.
Ooh, so what I want to do
the back end of the eye wall
is, before we go any further, I want to explain the Little Shell tribe and what is the Little Shell tribe. Anybody familiar with the Little Shell tribe before we go on further?
Nope, I'm not.
So for y'all who don't understand who the Little Shell tribe is, the Little Shell tribe, and this is me in my own little way of saying it, the Little Shell tribe is a group of white people who decided that they want to start their own clan, their own tribe, and label themselves as being indigenous so they can therefore make themselves distinct from the common American citizens, and they can therefore qualify for reparations and federal recognition so that they can gather their own money and be funded and back to go and develop their own food, their own culture, their own crops, their own education system, and all this stuff. And they label themselves as being the Little Shell tribe. So in that particular video, you have these white people saying, hey, they're actually trying to get a bill at this point in time is for President Trump. They're trying to get a bill for President Trump to acknowledge them and give them recognition to be their own people. So the question now becomes of, were they able to make it to see Donald Trump?
Jay, is Jay behind me someplace? I'm signing Jay's commission right
You
I want
can't
to
hear.
pause it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that are the members of the Little Shell tribe.
They
As
made
you
it.
can see, those are the members of the Little Shell tribe. Again, does any of those people look Indian to you?
Indian?
That is the Little Shell tribe. Those are the white men who got together and formed their own tribe, labeled as the Little Shell tribe. And as you've seen, they had it all the way before President Donald Trump, who, when you seen President Donald Trump, he's actually signing the document for him.
Are you serious?
What is on the ground? What is the
That makes. I mean, I don't even know why I'm surprised.
tribal flag?
Again, those are more people of the white people that formed their own tribe. I want you to read that. Can you guys see what that says at the bottom of the screen? What that says at the bottom of the screen, it says, back home in Montana, the Little Shell tribe was celebrating. A proclamation was issued in the tribe's honor, and the tribal flag was raised at the state capitol in Helena, Montana on Friday, December 20th, 2019. So literally, December 2019, you have these people who were just awarded reparations. Understand that. You have these people who are awarded reparations. This is not anything that I'm showing y'all as an article. This is something that you're actually seeing. It's important that you guys see this, and important that you see the politician who's the president signing this, because this is what I refer to as legislative racism. There's actually laws and policies that are put in place to explore a little bit more, to show you the advantages that have been given. So oftentimes, before you even get to the point of reparations, you got to understand exactly what it is that you're playing against. So in this particular case, we're playing something, and they didn't call it reparation. They called it recognition.
Right.
They called it Little Shell Tribe recognition. So think about the play on words.
Yeah.
So we have a topic called reparations, but then we have people who just got awarded federal recognition. And this is back from December 2019. So what actually ends up happening now at that particular point is, you got to think, we just saw a clip of the president of the United States back in 2019 going ahead and awarding recognition. Could he have possibly been the only president to ever do so? I don't know. Let's take a look.
Hello, you. Thank you all very much. Members of Congress and distinguished guests, my fellow Americans, we gather here today to right a grave wrong. More than 4 years ago, shortly after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, 120,000 persons of Japanese ancestry living in the United States were forcibly removed from their homes and placed in makeshift internment camps. This action was taken without trial, without jury. It was based solely on race, for these 120,000 were Americans of Japanese descent. Yes, the nation was then at war, struggling for its survival, and it's not for us today to pass judgment upon those who may have made mistakes while engaged in that great struggle. Yet we must recognize that the internment of Japanese Americans was just that, a mistake. For throughout the war, Japanese Americans in the tens of thousands remained utterly loyal to the United States. Indeed, scores of Japanese Americans volunteered for our armed forces, many stepping forward in the internment camps themselves. The 442nd Regimental Combat Team, made up entirely of Japanese Americans, served with immense distinction to defend this nation, their nation. Yet back at home, the soldiers' families were being denied the very freedom for which so many of the soldiers themselves were laying down their lives. Congressman Norman Mineta, with us today, was 10 years old when his family was interned. In the congressman's words, "My own family was sent first to Santa Anita Racetrack. We showered in the horse paddocks. Some families lived in converted stables, others in hastily thrown together barracks. We were then moved to Heart Mountain, Wyoming, where our entire family lived in one small room of a rude tar paper barrack. Like so many tens of thousands of others, the members of the Moneta family lived in those conditions, not for a matter of weeks or months, but for 3 long years. The legislation that I am about to sign provides for a restitution payment to each of the 60,000 survivors.
I want y'all to understand that you just hear him say, he literally just said,
A reparation.
what he's about to sign is he's gonna give them restitution, and he's gonna award them restitution. And if you listen to their story sounds so similar to the people who got this same color skin color. Did you hear about? He was talking about literally there were people that were actually going and they were going to war as Japanese Americans in the United States military, but when they would come back, they were getting mistreated and abused. They didn't have the freedoms. And now he's going to give them compensation. Think of this. I want you to see what it says. It says at the top of the screen, it says the internment compensation bill. So now we got to play on words. We got another play on words. The play on words that we have is we have federal recognition that was granted, and now we have compensation bill that was actually given. So you guys got to keep in mind when you think about this terminology, because we're just talking about reparations. Before we get into reparations, I just want to elaborate on the history. So now that I've shown you 2 different stories. One story is about the Little Shell tribe that was getting reparations. The next story that I was giving you was about the Japanese internment, and that was President Ronald Reagan who signed the bill. So again, this is more and more legislative. This isn't just people with opinion. These are actually politicians that are actually putting things into play. It's important that we all understand this. But here's one more thing I want to leave you with. If you recognize this lady right here, her name is Hillary Clinton. We got receipts today. We ain't just talking today. We got receipts. We want to hear what these people out here saying. That being said, let's see what it is that the only Hillary Clinton has to say.
Mrs. Clinton, you were recently honored by the World Jewish Congress for your efforts to help Jewish victims of the Holocaust, many of whom worked in slave labor camps during World War II, and you helped them to get reparations from Switzerland, Germany, and many other countries. My question is, are you now willing to help African Americans whose ancestors were slaves here in the United States get reparations from our country for their years of slavery?
Well, Marsha, I was very honored.
Before I even get into her response, as you can see, the woman asked the question has already told how she was able to get reparations for the Jews and all these other people in the Holocaust, that Hillary Clinton played a critical role in the passing legislation for that. The question that she asks now is the question about what are you going to do for black people? Do we really need to play the rest of that tape and hear what her answer is about what she's going to do for black people? Is that really necessary too? Is that really necessary, Resident Joe?
I mean, you interrupted it. Is it?
Did she do anything? Because this was a while ago.
I mean,
where are you guys now?
Play it.
All right, 1 second. Let's go ahead and let's add it.
To be one of the people mentioned and given an honor by the World Jewish Congress for the work that, although mine was a minor role, the work that led to the recovery of those assets. That was an important piece of history that had to be put to rest. And on issues of reparations with respect to African Americans, Native Americans, we have some mental and emotional and psychological reparations to pay first. We have to admit that we haven't always treated the people in our own country fairly. We have some issues that we have to address when it comes to racial justice right now. So I'm willing to work hard to be a strong advocate for civil rights and human rights here at home and around the world. I want to do everything I can to make sure that the programs and policies that have helped generations of African Americans have a better life in this country continue. I think we should be focused on the present and on the future. I was very moved when I visited Goree Island twice, first on my own with my daughter and then with my husband. And we do owe.
I'm stopping it right there because what she does something known as talk around the question. And they're really, really good at talking around the question. What I was just doing is we just have Tony joining in on the chat. And Tony, what we were talking about is we were talking about reparations. And one thing that we talked about that we know in the past week or so, you actually had the opportunity to pose this question to Stacey Abrams. You mind sharing with the audience what was her particular response?
As always, a politician always be a politician and not a real actual person that feel like they're a victim and there's a real recourse or a reason for a recourse. In order to get those positions to even run on a major scale like a governor, a president, vice president, you have to really buy into the narrative and you have to sell to your own people that reparations is not financial restitution, but yet when everyone else is always financial restitution with an apology. Apology with no financial indentment against them doesn't do anything for us. It's just all just wordplay. And that's basically what she said. She did claim that she did have something on her website, which if you could pull it up, saying that she did put on there that she was for reparations at the very end. That's what she said. I've never, actually viewed her website. I'm not sold on the policy agenda itself. And as you were saying, typically with these people, it's the same thing. Everyone else gets the money. People of color, we get the language. We get the abuse. To hear about somebody getting reparation from 1940 something when they was in slave labor camps, that's what we in 2022. So I guess the reason why we've never gotten reparation, which would make sense, is the fact that we've never been released from slavery. So I think the first thing is to free ourselves, and then we can sit down and talk about restitution. So I see you put up Stacey's website. Do you see anything on there about reparations?
I'm looking.
No, sir. Maybe if I read, let's try clicking on read Stacey's story.
I don't see it under her her talking points of her.
No.
What she says, I don't.
We talked about how she's helped small businesses. She's paid off medical debt. She's raised funds for families in need. Help expand the COVID-19 text. A lot of stuff, but on none of this stuff do I see reparations. I just don't see it, Tony. I don't see it, Thule. I don't see it at all, Resident Joe. No matter wherever I look, I just don't see what it is they're talking about reparations. But again, we haven't even got down to the topic of what reparations is. Right now, all we just did is we just explored just a couple little things of terms of how people are actually the little shell tribe, how they're getting it. They don't call it reparation. They call it, Tula, what's that word again? They call it, Tula? Recognition. And how the Japanese Americans, they didn't get reparations. They didn't get reparation. They called it compensation bill that was signed by the one and only President Ronald Reagan. So let's hear some more things that I want to share with you. One more story. Let's see if there's anyone else out here that could possibly maybe be receiving quote unquote reparations. And if so, what do they refer to it as? Let's take a look.
I call it the guaranteed minimum income. Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of the country. It is a very American idea. So it seems far out to us now that, hey, we should just have a dividend where everyone gets $1,000 a month. But we've been talking about this for decades, and it came this close to being law in 1971. It actually passed the House of Representatives twice under Richard Nixon. Milton Friedman and 1,000 economists signed a study saying this would be great for America. And then one state has had a dividend for 37 years where everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked.
What state is that?
That's Alaska.
Really?
Yeah, you go to Alaska right now, you live there for a year, and everyone in your family gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year from the petroleum dividend. It was passed 37 years ago by a Republican governor, and Alaska's a deep red state. This Republican governor shows up 1982.
So before I go any further, what this gentleman just says, for those of you who don't know, this is politician president candidate Andrew Yang. He was actually running for a president to be the president back in this last election. He was running against Joe Biden, but he was also running for the Democratic Party also. What Andrew Yang was actually telling people, he was telling people saying, hey, you know what? There's actually other people right now that are getting, he referred to it as dividends. And he referred to the people who live in Alaska. they're actually getting dividends off the land that was stripped away from them and given back. The government is now paying them dividends on that land because it was found out that land that they have in Alaska actually had oil and petroleum on it. And he even says right now, as you heard him saying in the video, if you were to move to Alaska right now and live there for a year, you would be entitled to those reparations. Dividends. So it's a lot of stuff going on right now where people must really understand that, hey, before you understand and broach the topic of reparations, you need to understand who are already being compensated, who are already being recognized, who are already being given dividends before you even start to oppose what reparations actually really is. Talk to us. Share your opinion.
Well, I think first step, I think a lot of that has to do with us even being recognized as a human. So I don't think they owe us. They think they don't owe us anything because we're not even equal as far as being men and women. So that's not even on the books as us Black people recognized as being men and women. So that's a good start. I think they can use that for justification.
Resident Joe, Tony, any comments?
I feel like I always hear, I don't think things are ever going to change. I think it has to come within the community to start changing and making their own groups in order to change. I feel like this is politics. I don't think the world would ever. There's people that control, so I don't think things are. This is just my opinion. I don't think things will change as much as we would want it to change, or people protest. It's just people. I feel that it has to start within some type of group doing changes, but maybe somebody does bring a change one day. I don't know.
Interesting. You know what? We have a caller in the queue. Is it okay if I could bring that caller in for momentarily? Let's see what the caller has to say about this particular topic.
Hello,
Confederate,
everyone.
what's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Welcome to
Hey,
the
Miss
show, man. Great to
Julie,
see you
Dr.
again.
Joe,
How we doing?
Mr.
Hello.
Love Doctor and Ron Smith.
What's
How
going on, my
y'all
friend?
tonight? Like to begin with, thank you for having me on. A lot has been said in the short time that we've had. Can you guys hear me pretty good?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to start out with addressing the hurricane, which was when I came into the conversation. I recall it was either in 1979 or either 1980, if I'm not mistaken. Hurricane David, me being the native of the state of Florida, the first male hurricane that I can recall is Hurricane David, I believe in 1979 or the early 80s. And then the most recent male hurricane that I think we should all remember that did a lot of damage was Hurricane Andrew in South Florida.
Yeah. And Hugo. Don't forget Hugo.
So and as far as the naming of the hurricanes, they are typically female oriented and they have Greek connotations to them. Then moving forward to the issue of the reparations, the recognition, the dividends, and the compensation.
All right, froze up, Confederate. You mind repeating yourself?
I think he's froze right now.
Your reception is bad, Confederate. What we're gonna do? We're gonna briefly remove you from the chat. If you can call back in, I definitely want to hear what you're saying. It sounded like you were about to say something very profound. So if you can give us a call back, that'd be awesome.
So I need to just wait to kick back in. Mr. Rude Host. That joke of that rude. I want to get you on the show and hang
His
you up.
call
like
dropped. His whole call
Did
dropped.
it drop? Well, it dropped.
His phone dropped.
Well, that's different. You didn't remove him. That's a different conversation.
Now he's joining back to the screen. Let me wait again to add him. His screen's still white. Let's see.
I'm back.
Hey, are you back now?
Yeah. Are we back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Yes. Yes. No.
Yes.
No,
Radio.
I
sir.
can't hear you. If you're saying something, I can't hear you.
Yeah. No.
No.
Go out and come back. Go back out and come back.
Come back. There's
Go
no.
out.
Can't hear you.
No,
Like
we
we're
still
talking
can't hear
sign
you.
language. We can't hear you, sir. Well, he's muted,
It
so I
look
don't
it
know.
looks like he muted his microphone.
But it's still.
So
I
if you
think.
could take your microphone off mute, I don't know. All right,
Okay.
his call just dropped again. Okay.
Hurricane Michael. I never heard of that.
Yeah, several. You had Neo, the little boy. Typically, what people don't know why they name him after women is because of how inconsistent they are. I mean, when they go, they travel.
Ooh.
Oh my
Seriously, that's why they
God.
name them after.
What did I
Really, because of the temperament of a woman. That's what they feel like. They'll go one way, go another way. They'll get high, and they'll come back down. Women temperament. That's typically why they name them after women.
Wow.
Y'all didn't know that?
No.
I mean, we kind of had a feeling because
Y'all know women. Y'all can be all over the place sometimes. So it's like, same way, like a hurricane. Somebody has that in one of their Zamara talking about like a hurricane. That's right. Because they'll go one direction, they'll turn around and start going back a different way, or they'll turn totally and go a way that's unexpected. So that's what you typically look at. Their behavior, their temperament is more like a female.
then we come back and completely destroy.
Now y'all tell, that's what y'all do. Women can tell that. I mean, amazing. If you read the book, it's a lot of writing about women and how they are destructive, and how a woman is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a wide open space with a loud and contentious woman. A woman, there's a lot of writing about women and their behavior and about their attitudes and how destructive they can be, and how a foolish woman will take her hand and she will tear something down and rip it apart. Amazing.
Wow.
Tuli had to call her therapist because she got shocked. Although I think he's probably calling her. But it's true. I mean, women can be very emotional. We do have to accept that, and we have to accept it in order to be able to control it. Yeah, we do. We could. If there's no control there, and we don't acknowledge it, but we could control those things.
You. Listen, it can be controlled. A woman don't want to be controlled. A woman has to really be. You have to be very strong-willed man. You have to be very dominant to keep a woman and hold her in a certain. What do you mean hold me? I mean to keep a woman and say, listen, this is the temperament a woman needs to have. This is the behavior of a woman, and that's a hard thing to do. A lot of women don't do well with that.
You know what,
They'll
Tony?
feel like they've
Does
been
it have
handled.
to be that way?
Yes, that's been her temperament since she's been here. They'll play innocent to it and act like it's not, and no, I don't want it. That's not true. They do. That's always the end. That is, I mean, it is. They'll act like they don't want to, but that's just how a woman is. You have to just understand it. That's her nature. It ain't you always got those exceptions, without a doubt. We all know that it's not every woman, but as on a sentence of a lot of times, yeah, it's very seldom you'll find a group of women together that have a mindset of we're the women that's looking to follow to help a man to motivate. A lot of times when you'll get women that will do that, it'll be women that be behind the wrong men that abuse them, men that don't take care of them, men that not responsible, men that cheat on them. They'll get behind them, they'll support them. A man that's a drunk, a man that cheat on them, a man that lies to them, they will do everything and go out the way for them. A man that'll do for them, that's trustworthy, and they will try to run him over They would try to milk him. They would try to destroy him and pull him down. They'll pull. It is. That's the nature of a woman.
You know what?
Again, it's not
I
every
got a
one of them, but
question
the
for you,
average.
Tony.
Go ahead.
Cause you saying you dropping some jewels right now. In your opinion, is it really what's the point for a man to get married these days? Is it really a point? The purpose of him doing that? What's the reward of him doing that?
I'll be honest with you. To do that now is almost crazy if you don't have if y'all don't have a guideline set before, and, and a woman understanding the role of no more. And I would say the same thing to a woman marrying a man. He would have to understand the role of. But typically, everybody today is penis and vagina. And penis and vagina have messed up the whole quorum of what marriage is about. Being that person somebody could count on. Then you can actually have confidence in you're with somebody. You can 100% depend on them to do their part. It's a rarity. It's almost existent. Typically in a marriage, you'll have one producing partner and the other one will be the failure. The one will carry the other. I refuse to be a man that my wife will have to carry me, my role, or do what I look at as being a man's role. I'm old school. A man role is what it is. If you don't want to be it, I'll never complain about my role. That's what I do. I'm responsible for, and I like being a man, 100,000% man, and knowing that I'm someone that's going to get it done. If I say it's going to be done, you can count on it. She don't have to worry about it. She got a bust her behind the last minute to come up with it. I don't play like man. Well, I don't even bother my wife with bills behind or whatever because I don't want her to be upset. So I don't even tell about it because I don't want my wife to get stressed out, which is the dumbest, stupidest, retarded thing I've ever heard. How about don't stress her out by just paying it?
Facts.
I hear men say the dumbest, stupidest, ignorantest, brainless stuff I ever heard in my life. Tuda can go through any bills we got at any time she wants to, in any account I have. There's not a zero balance. There's not anything outstanding. Finna be cut off, eviction notice. It's like, why would I do that? That's me taking care of me. Taking care of her is me doing my job. I like being me. I like being responsible. And as a man, to the best of my ability, if I fell down, couldn't work, got hurt, whatever, I know that Tula will pick up, go, do it. Great. And I make sure I keep that off her back. But I know without a doubt, I would not be on the ground and she'll be somewhere talking about what we gonna do, get up, trying to drag me out the door to a car. She's gonna jump up, she's gonna use her head, she's gonna put things together, she's gonna jump on top of things to make sure it's done. That's what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
But unfortunately today, women today look at a man, you gonna pay my bills, you ain't getting none unless you buy bills. I mean, if that's what you'll do, you'll give up your body for money. You're no different than a prostitute versus I give myself up to a man if I was a woman. If you can meet the protocol of being a man, not just pay no bills, be somebody I can put confidence in, a leadership, a decision maker, somebody that can foresee, somebody that plans. All these things are important being a man, and I stress that. So when I say about a woman and how today it's so hard to find a woman, it's to find a woman, a woman. I ain't gonna say a good woman. It's on the two: a woman and nothing, a man or nothing. There's not a good man and a bad man. There's not either he's a man or he's nothing. Either she is a woman or she's nothing. We have to stop putting these people in these categories as though you're one, you're just not a performing one. No, all of these are the criteria of being a man. These are the definitions of a man.
Right.
Like them, and so in order for a word, a phrase to be a sentence, there are punctuations that have to be. Am I correct?
Correct.
So if it's not punctuated correct, it's not a sentence.
That's right.
The run on.
Okay, they'll say it's an incorrect sentence, which basically means it's not a sentence. So either you are a man or you're not a man. Either you're a woman or you're not a woman. And once we put it to that type of dynamics, we change what people keep trying to skate around.
100%.
Hey, that's 100%. Real quick, I noticed that Tuli, your microphone is muted. But you did say that you have a caller online, and you also sent over an article. That you have
We
that
got.
caller online? They read for that article, and also got Confederate 48 lined
Oh
up
yeah,
too to
always
pick up
want.
where he left off too. Tony hit on some really good stuff.
What are we doing first? You want to do my
Is your
call?
call
Confederate
still
here.
available?
Yes. All right. Let's
We
see.
got Confederate. Also, smoke hemp, keep you calm.
All right, caller, can you hear us?
You on mute. He on mute. Confederate 48 is on mute.
Smitty, if your caller is unable to,
Call.
we also have a phone number.
He's there.
Okay. You have
Okay,
a number on Love Doctor?
go there. I can hear him. Yeah, yeah. I'll
Cool.
post our phone number.
He's
Oh,
listening.
The gentleman that was making the comments earlier about playing those clips, it's kind of misconstrued in what was being said there. One of the reasons why the Japanese American, that's the key word that people skip over. They were Americans. And they was Americans that came under federal action without giving due process. So that can happen to anyone. The 14th Amendment says you have to have received due process, what they call procedure due process. In other words, you're supposed to be heard by a court and all those things. I think it's the Fifth Amendment says that you have sustained due process. That is, if they're going to take your land and need your land, and they got to pay you what that land's worth. Indians were considered in the Constitution as sovereign nations, not as regular people in the country. That's in Article 1. In another article I can't mention right now. Indian had slaves. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation only applied to those slaves who escaped to the Union lines. They became known as contraband. And he could issue an order to release the contraband. Those that was in other states, he had no authority over. And he had no authority over the Indians' holdings of slaves or property, because they didn't release theirs until 1866. And the reason why they released them is simple. They said, if you want us to release our property, you got to pay us for it, which the United States done. And actually, the last payment of $300,000 went to one tribe there in the 50s. So people are forgetting that. They don't even mention that. I guess they don't know that is the case. And did you know that back in 1878, we had a black judge, Supreme Court justice by the name of Jesse Franklin. He was a Creek Indian. Much of the land in Oklahoma was Creek land, and nobody owns that land. And when they had those allotments, they'd be given to give away 150 acres. If you don't own it, you only leave it. It's a statement on something else. I can't remember what it is, but I don't know what it was. And the reparation, you talk about Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is not a federal elected official. She was the governor of Georgia. The state legislature controls the governor. Controls the state of Georgia. They are the democratically elected representatives. If they don't want something, it's not going to happen. So let's start to get back down to the people, where the people are supposed to control their state legislature, the state or countries. The countries, they supposed to control the federal government. But the federal government is completely out of control. Alaska, if you're a citizen of Alaska, because of their oil revenue, they divide that up amongst the population of Alaska. Well, since Joe Biden came in and stopped oil production, I don't know where they stand. And you know another thing too, if you stay on a coastal area like South Carolina, North Carolina, Louisiana, and if there's all exploration going on within your boundaries, all the way out to international waters, that state should also receive revenue, just like the citizens in Alaska. But you got to get the federal government out of them. They shouldn't be in it because the Constitution don't allow them to have that. The Constitution don't even allow the federal government to own land. The only land that's mentioned in the Constitution, you remember the old TV series F Troop? Well, those were forts that when the progress going out to the west, they would send soldiers and they would set up encampments, forts to fight the Indians. And real quick, one of the reasons why Japan didn't come and invade the United States, and because they said that behind every blade of grass there's a weapon, because the United States citizens are heavily armed. But to in turn, the Japanese at that time in history was the right thing to do, because if you're fighting a nation, then you don't want that nation with its citizens in the country, because they all blood is always thicker than water, to establish a fifth colony and be fighting you from within. So let's say.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah,
is
we
that
appreciate it.
Tianki?
Yeah.
That voice sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Is that Tianki?
That sounds. We ain't heard from him in a
Hey,
long
great to
time.
hear from you. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, a lot of information he dropped. Yep, with Stacey Abrams, just to come in there, he's exactly right.
Well, you're gonna get
But
blown
Stacey-
with the eyes.
No, are you down south, little doctor? He said.
I couldn't hear him. You said what now? Am I down south? Did
He
he
wanna know
say
about
am I
that
down
ugly
south near the
sweater.
hurricane? Is that what he asked me?
He asked you about that ugly sweater.
Oh man, listen, man.
He said, did you get it
Listen,
from
man.
down south of the toilet?
Tianki, well, first thing I want to tell you, no, I'm not a part of the hurricane. No, I'm not down south in the hurricane, Tianki. But I also want to
I
encourage
saved
you
him.
too. You can call in and also check out our YouTube, Tianki, because I know you've been a long time listener, and we definitely appreciate your support. But you can actually follow us now on YouTube, where you can come over to the YouTube side. You can actually put a name with the faces and actually get to see us. And maybe you can even join us via video chat one day.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, I've gotten older, but I'm still handsome. So
I got it. But definitely good to hear from you.
all right, I'll talk to
Yeah.
you guys later.
All right, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we
All
talk
right,
to
you
as
take care,
well.
buddy.
Take care.
All
We
right.
had, but what he was saying about her not being elected official, I agree, which is true. I mean, a federal, but there are things on the state level. My whole thing was just find out where was her head. Stacey Abrams' ambition is with the governorship and then the president, and then to the presidency. I know what her drive is for why she's doing what she's doing, to get that position when they come to say, I think she served in the House as a representative, but then maybe decide to serve as the governor of a state, which is equivalent to a president. Because the governor, as you know, he stays in a big house just like the president. His wife is the first lady. He has a military because these are actually countries. People tell us they're states, but they're countries. There's no state and no other place that, have a separate, have their own military. Putin has the military. The military is the military of the whole entire country. United States is the only place that give governors a military, which they're called the National Guard. So there are things on a state level. I think was it Indiana passed reparations for people of color. I think back here a couple of years ago before COVID. So it wasn't monetarily, but states can, actually do that. And like he was saying, the representatives. But I'm a believer and proponent of people of color. At this point, as long as we've been here and we've argued and we've fought with them about it, it shouldn't be a fight anymore. I'm for a separation where we govern ourselves and and quote unquote everyone else could stay. And I think every people should have a governing power for itself. Even when they have rulers in other countries like Gaddafi was in Libya. Libya has other tribes. It's composed of at least about 124 tribes, and those tribes all kind of deal within themselves, and those tribes all try to get themselves in an electoral system where they can have an in or a say for the betterment of their people. We're the only people that's not recognized as a people. That's why we don't get whether you give it a different name title, we don't ever get the entitlements that's due to us based on, how we've been victimized, and we're still victims of America. At this point, let's separate and let's do business. Because business is business, trade is trade. With China and Russia, there's still business. Russia is where we get 5G from. China, TikTok, China controls a lot of our stuff that comes in, but they can argue and fight without cutting off the business. I'm saying let's start the fighting and let's do business. So I'm proposing a better opportunity chance, and it will give a chance for the so-called Negro to establish himself and see what he can do. Everything we've done so far has always been controlled and handled by a white governing hand. If a so-called quote-unquote so-called Negro excels in something, he decides he wants to stop, like Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby had committed a crime. He and then the only thing he did, it was morally completely wrong and rotten that he cheated on his wife and that he did what he did, or even giving the women drugs or knocking them out. But he hadn't committed a crime by America's rules, and there was a statute of limitation. But it showed you they can go back and reconfigure and create whatever they want at their liberties, because rape statutory limitation, I think, is like 4 years or something. And the fact that they could go back and prosecute him for something that happened in the 70s, hopefully he had changed by then. But, it's just the fact of, and this man went to prison because a woman said I was in his bedroom with him and his wife's bedroom. Let me see, first of all, right or wrong? Wrong. So we were sitting on his and his wife's bed. Wrong. We were drinking wine, sitting on him and his wife's bed and him and his wife's bedroom. Where were we going with this? Now we were walking down the street and we walked in the store. I had a drink. I went to the bathroom. I came back to drink my drink. I was knocked out. There was no intention of being with this man sexually. There was nothing, at all sexual verted about it. It was just a common sit down somewhere. We're in the bedroom, sitting on the bed, drinking wine. Where is this going? But when they get ready, that's the bad part that hurt women. The fact that, females will claim to be a woman, but they would do things that's just immorally wrong. They know, and you ladies can vouch for, a woman know if it's gonna be sex tonight.
Absolutely.
The man is hoping for it. She knows. Before she leave, before she go, I'm giving it up or not. She knows. I control it. He can think, okay, I'm gonna get over him, I'm gonna go over him, then I'm gonna get her to do this. She'll drink because she like, this is where I want to go. You say, hey, you want something to drink? She said, no, thank you, because she's already decided she ain't doing it, and she ain't getting no enhancers. So she controls it. He's hoping to put the thing together, the mood together for sex. She controls that matter. So she knew what she was doing, and women knew that, and the fact that they can go to an Me Too movement, it just degrades women that have character and, that carry themselves in that fashion, that do what they do, to earn that title and carry it well. Hats off, kudos to every one of you that do. But it's the shamefulness of women, or, want to be women, that go and stoop to this level and make it about $1 and, different than, it's more respect to a prostitute. She'll never take a John's money and go holler and rape. He paid for the service, I gave him the service. That's all it was. But to say, hey, I let him into this because I knew he was weak. I knew he would think and he would get aroused. I knew there's a payday. I'm finna get paid. And now it changed the whole dynamic of a relationship, because a man has to be careful. Most of them are not smart enough to realize it. And especially if you have something, it's so easy for them to put you in a situation and say rape. It ain't got, listen, a woman can get a lawsuit and say he mentally abused me. This is this stuff. And now there are men that do that. It's true. There are men that beat women down mentally. You ugly, you this, degrade them to where it breaks them in their spirit. But for a woman to say that, just to use that manipulation, because, there are women that have truly used that and they were victims that were proven, and, and it's real for them. But to use that to say a man say one or two things that I'm mentally abused and now it's a lawsuit, or I'm part of Me Too. Women who don't go for their foolishness should stand up. They should stand up. You know, women wait on a man to brush up against them and lead him into that situation. Oh, you just touched me inappropriately, and I'm a subordinate. You know what I'm saying? And you're a superior. Oh, I'm gonna sue you in mental damage. This is a forced rape relationship that me and you having now for 15 years, and now I can't handle it no more. And I'm broke down, and you finna walk off, and this company finna pay you millions of dollars. I mean, that's the company shouldn't be responsible. Listen, if y'all work here and you want to bang, that's y'all. Don't drag us in it. We have nothing to do with you, who you bang. If we're responsible for who you bang, then we should be responsible for your sexuality at work. You cannot come to my job dressed like no hoe. You cannot come to my job acting like no female and you're a man, because I'm responsible for your sexuality. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Hit the cash app, and the like button and subscribe. Also, tune to get a chance. You had a vitamins this show on. I want to make a video. I'm gonna try to make it put on Instagram. I just want to show y'all. Let me just share this right quick. This I found this great holistic doctor. A lot of the members also have gone and tried them, and I've wrestled with my blood pressure for years, from working out, running. You know, I was running 2 miles, 13 minutes, 40 seconds. Then I do another half a mile. I mean, running. Anybody know me would tell you I can work out pretty decent. And I've taken dandelions. I've taken everything, hawthorn berries. I've taken raw garlic, black garlic, organic garlic, cinnamon, that's what I took, cayenne pepper. I've taken everything, bladder wax, pumpkin seed. I done took it all. And I mean, none of that stuff, I'll be honest with you, if you got a simplistic case, yes, they are good herbs and good for a lot. But it doesn't do anything. If you're a person, I have aggressive high blood pressure. I'm saying mine is aggressive. It'll fight anything you throw at it, and nothing works. But I found some stuff that I want to make sure we show. I'm gonna just get a collage, just show y'all all the stuff I have that I was taking every day. I probably take about 20 pills easy a day.
Wow.
Whoa, you was taking that many pills?
Wow.
I
mean, yeah, that would get my blood pressure in the 90s at the bottom. 120 over 80. What is it now? 118 over 70. But typically 120 over 80. I'm 132, 128 at the top, over like 88, 85, somewhere in there. And I ain't starving myself. I eat pretty much what I want. Took out the breads. I don't do any breads. I probably ate something here and there, but I just don't eat bread. But got rid of the gluten, and she put me on that regimen and put me on some stuff that I take every day. Tula and I both take it, and it has really changed my life. I mean, my blood pressure has never been greater. And cycling off of the blood pressure pills at that also. And I just wanted people to know about it, because I'm telling you, it makes even the salt. We even carry salt. We bought this salt. I don't know if you can see it. I don't have it open, but can y'all see it? The little granular. This salt actually comes from a plant. Tula and I sell it. We believe in it so much. We cook with it. This is the only thing we cook with. This stuff comes from a plant in the ocean. It's better, healthier than any of that sea salt junk. Throw it in the trash. Pink Himalayan salt, I've taken all that stuff. If that stuff will run you up. This stuff does not affect your blood pressure. $40, got to show you the stuff. This comes directly from a plant in the ocean, all natural, and when you cook with it, does not affect your blood pressure. And the good thing when you do it too, you don't taste a difference. I think have you had my wife cooking with the new salt, Little Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed the difference?
In the taste of the food I have, yeah.
Oh,
I know the difference in the taste of the food. But she still made it taste good. She cooks me a breakfast platters on Shabbat. And she's been doing the salt. The green salt is what it's called, right? Green salt. She's been doing the green salt. And actually, she incorporates into the meal pretty well. She does an awesome job at it.
Listen, y'all need to get it. We got another one. It's a powder for your face, make you help out your youth and all this good stuff. Main thing you're doing, you brush your teeth with it, and it's good for killing gum diseases and different things. I go to the dentist, and Tula makes all our toothpaste. They try to give me fluoride when I get finished. Never. Only teeth I got missing my wisdom tooth, and they took them out on their own. I ain't one of them bad mouth jokers, but anyway, I use it, and I mean, listen. Every time I go, they try to listen. It's a great dentistry. I don't use that stuff. I don't put no fluoride in my mouth. I don't take that junk. I don't use their toothpaste. And I don't, when they give it to me at the dentist, I keep the toothbrush and I throw their toothpaste in the garbage because I don't want to poison nobody else with that stuff. I'm telling you, I don't know how people do it. I did that stuff. I mean, we clean up our diet, and the reason why I'm bringing it up too, in order to get us to think differently, you
Oh, cutting off.
Sound like his phone is breaking up. Real quick, why his phone is maybe
We didn't hear you saying what? We missed you.
yeah,
You said difference in what?
You cut off a
yeah,
little bit.
I heard y'all talking. Um, I was just saying, if you clean up your diet from the people that's been feeding you, it makes your mind clearer. Look at everything you take, the stuff that you put in your hair. I mean, Smith make out a beard balm. I mean, she make grease for her hair. A lot
everything.
of
Just
things.
don't say she made everything.
People don't believe
Everything.
it.
She made everything.
Yeah,
You
that's the
say
truth. She
beard
do. She
balm.
really do.
If you
Man,
ever
how about
try
she
her
make ice
bath
cream now?
bomb, that's pretty good
She,
too.
For soaps.
listen, she make our soap. The soap.
I love
I mean, she make our soap, our hand soap. She make our stuff.
Deodorant.
I mean, it was like they were like, you don't take it. Oh yeah, deodorant. I
at
don't wear that. I don't
supermarket.
put on that. I put on whole all day. I'm really she does. She make all that stuff. Real creative woman. And but I mean, just clean up your diet and clean up the different things you do. I know somebody always says strength. I'm used to doing it. I don't think nothing about it. When y'all just said, I realize how much we do. I don't think anything about it, because I'm used to doing it. I've been doing it now. She's been doing it a while. She looked and took that upon herself to make it. There's a lot of people that use her toothpaste, the whole nine. But the vitamins and everything now will clean up the inner self. It really makes you clearer and cognate of what's going on and change. Everybody comes up with, we don't have to literally fight white people and shoot white people and kill white people. I don't think that's the way we need to do it. I know the anger because I get it and I've had it, okay? But let's be sensible at this point on doing some construct. We have to still be able to do business and function. And if we can't do that, we won't survive. If we allow our anger to override our sense of survival and our sense of, ensuring our generation to keep going, then we're going to extinct ourselves. That's why the prison systems are hurting us. That's why, quote unquote, black on black crime, police, we're extincting ourselves because of our ignorance. At this point, when we clean up our diet, we clean up the way we think and our rationalization of things, and then we put ourselves in a better situation for our existence. No one felt like it was racist when the Indians got the reservations and said, okay, now they had separate Indian land that was separate from federal, that they could have casinos and do other things and don't pay taxes, and that they shouldn't be restricted to being, they don't have to pay for fishing or hunting license. That don't apply to them. If I was here before them, because the only way you could be an Indian if you're from India. Okay? So first of all, I was here before you ever came. Let's get the lie straight. I don't know why people keep acknowledging something that makes absolutely no sense. You can only be an Indian if you're from India. But these people, your oppressors have given you a title and made you feel that you were entitled to something. I mean, at some point we have to be recognized and we have to make our voice known and just say, listen, I'm for this. Let's first agree to sit down and speak. Our people talk. Air out our grievances among ourselves, and then we come up with, okay, what do we do to heal with each other? I think that the quote unquote Negro man and Negro woman, we need to express first of all where our disconnect is, and then we need to correct it. We need to all come clean and say, this is my problem. Not just what your problem is. This is my problem. Once we can agree on that and agree on how our home should be structured and what's important for our nation to grow and to continue to exist, then when we agree with that, we put it down on paper. Then when we put it down on paper, then we execute our plan. Well, we go and make formally known to them, this is how we will be governed. This is our plans of operation. This is our constitution. This is our rights. giving us our inalienable rights from our Creator that you say you have from your Creator, who I don't acknowledge. And you will acknowledge mine if you want me to acknowledge yours. This is how we will go. That is, we acknowledge everything they told you. They said come from God.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. When we were given slaves, and it's written in the Sefer, we were told how to deal with them. If I took you, Tula, if you were my slave, and if I laid with you, he said, as you lay with her cunningly, as you would lay with a woman, then you would have to take her for your wife. He laid with you cunningly, and he left you a slave, which is against the writings. He's never kept any writings. So now we have to come down and say, this is how we will govern ourselves and agree on this is for our existence. Now, at that point, we will sit down and we will have a conversation with them, letting them know what our plans of actions are. It will also be with plan of action too. We will defend this Constitution. We will defend this right to exist at any level and at all costs. But we'll come to you to let it be known to you, and we will look for you to be rational enough to say, you know what, I can respect that.
Right.
I'm not coming to saying all white people should die. I'm not coming to saying all white people should burn. We're not saying all white people should go to jail. It's just at this point, we need to fix an internal problem we have among us. There needs to be a consensus, and there needs to be constructive. We need to construct a constitution. We need to construct laws. We need to construct, and if we do it right the first time, it'll be no need to amend it. But we'll leave that room for if there's something we forgot or neglected, we will come back and add it. We won't say this is final, definite. No changes can be made, because when we grow, we want our constitution to grow with us. But still, God's problem is he doesn't want it to grow. He ignores it when he don't want to use it, and he uses it on us when it was given. You always got to revert back to our state, slaves. I see we got Confederate 48. I didn't mean to talk that long, but that's how I feel.
Oh man, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
We hear you great.
I mean, you know what, Rod Smith is saying that. I'm glad you did bring out all those points, and no need for the part in your speech because I binge watch you, so it's nothing to it. I hear you on a daily, so I'm quite familiar, with your PowerPoints that you make. But back to what I was originally commenting on earlier was about as the Love Doctor was stating about the reparations, the dividends, and the compensation. I wanted to begin by saying this before my phone interrupted me. In order for us to receive reparations, first of all, we have to be, as Ms. Tooley said, if we look at Section 2, Article 3 in the Constitution, we have to realize that we need to be recognized. So like you said, the small shell tribe, they can get reparations because they're recognized. You don't get reparations for not being even recognized. Then you don't get compensation if you're not recognized, and you don't get a dividend, which is a portion of a lump sum if you're not recognized. So we're fighting an uphill battle, just to say the least. Secondly, just some dry humor. Could you imagine a Hurricane Jezebel, as they would call it?
Ooh. Destroy the world.
Yeah, that would be so winning. That's about what we had too.
That was a good ending, though.
I can't really. If
Also, we got some.
What he's saying.
Say it again.
No,
yeah, we can't hear you.
Oh, you just went to mute. We can't hear you now.
No, he lost.
No, we can't hear you. We lost the sound again.
Dang, man.
So basically, try rebooting or whatever. Confederate 48. We can't hear you. But basically, to add on to what he was saying in terms of being recognized and the importance of being recognized, what I want to do is I want to briefly show y'all some imagery. what I want to do is I want to share with y'all.
Imagery.
This is something that happened under President Obama's administration. What I want to show you, I want to show y'all two different articles. It is more so not even the article; it's more so the actual photo. The first photo that I want to share with you guys is right here. This is a daughter of a man who was born a slave. Just opened the first National Black Museum, and this is the photo right here. Um,
Huh?
this right here, this particular woman, um, that image right there, she's actually the daughter. Her father was an actual slave, was born a slave. So this is the daughter of a man born a slave. She just opened the first National Black History Museum. So just take a look at this particular imagery. Her dad was a slave, and she opened, the ribbon cutting ceremony for the first National Black History Museum. She doesn't own it. She just partook at this particular ribbon cutting opening ceremony for the first
Yeah.
Black National History Museum. The daughter of a man who was born a slave.
Let
As a matter of fact, her name
me
is
ask you a question.
Ruth Bonner, and she's 99 years old.
You notice how light she
I have a
is?
problem with what you're saying. Yeah.
Before
On
you do
top of that,
comment on it,
let
I
me
want to
ask
show
you a
you one
question
more
because you
thing.
keep saying.
I want to show you. I'm doing a comparison.
Yeah.
Can I show you one more thing really quick before you commentary?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right. So the next thing I want to show you really quick is what was given. That's what President Obama actually gave to, a woman whose father was born a slave. He let her, cut the ribbon for the ribbon cutting
Oh,
ceremony.
yeah, we got that. We there.
So the next picture that I want to show y'all, and this right here, where's this headline at? Give me 1 second. Here it is, right here. What Obama did is he also, that same particular administration, he earmarked $12 million in reparation for Holocaust survivors.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, for the black lady whose father was born a slave, she's doing the opening ceremony. She opened the first Black History Museum. For the Holocaust survivors, he earmarked $12 million in reparations. This is just one thing that he did. He did a lot more. And that's one of the imageries and things like that that's
So if
showing.
people know what that means, that means that he actually put aside the $12 million.
So that was just one of the many things I was reading, and more what he did. He actually set aside a coalition for the Holocaust survivors, where he set open a fund and a committee where they were to relegate and handle all the different transactions. I think it's a special convoy committee for the Holocaust survivors. Also, he established a lot of different things. He has a large portfolio for things that he's done for reparations for Holocaust survivors. This is just one that happened back in 2015, one of many. But go ahead, Tony. Let's hear some of your commentary that you want to show on those pictures that I showed earlier.
Well, I guess my thing was I didn't see the difference between her and everybody else that's so-called black. The point of the matter is everybody born black in America, quote unquote black, are descendants of a slave. I mean direct descendants. Because my father was a slave, your father's a slave, I'm a slave, you're a slave. Well, the system, all the slaves are a person being controlled by its oppressor. So it doesn't matter where we stay or what we do, they still control us. They're still our masters, and until we finally decide that we're going to break away and say we're going to end slavery as a whole, then we all continue to produce children of who parents were slaves, children that are slaves. They control who. Let me say, we don't educate our own kids. The system do. This is how they get us. What we'll do is say, well, I'm taking my kids out of that government system, and that brainwashing system. I'm gonna start educating my homeschooler. Your homeschooler has to still meet their curriculum and their standards. So the child is still being taught the same thing that the parent who is the first slave of the child has been taught and what's been done. So all the rules and laws that your kid will do in fear or break are their rules, not yours, theirs. None of your rules can land your kids in jail that you rent and put in your home. None of them. My kid won't do what I tell him. There's not a law in the book that says arrest the child if the child does not do what the parent do. said, if the child does not do what I tell the child to do as a law enforcement of the government who is the slave owner tells them to do, then your child goes to jail. So everyone is a child of a slave, former slave, present slave. Our slavery is not, our connection to slavery is not these 200, 400 years ago. It's now. We're not, there's no black athlete that can come off that court and do what they want to do. Just like any other slave cannot walk off from no plantation when they get ready. You have a contract you are under, and the law will help me do it. I will take you to court, and this government law judge will rule in my favor against you. So there are laws that help her. They tell myself, do you know this is stupid? This is stupid. You know, there's laws on the book they had for slavery. Are you retarded? All the laws are for slavery.
True.
When you
And
go
Tony,
to jail, you are paying your debt to society. That's law. That's what they do. So I mean, we gotta stop. I think we get out, thinking and saying stupid stuff. When I say stupid stuff, because we don't think of it like that. Like I know what you were saying, but think about it. Wow, she was actually the daughter. Her daddy was a slave. Your dad a slave. My dad a slave. Who controls their retirement? Who tell them when they can retire? Now you can do it earlier. I won't give you a dime until you reach this age. I will penalize you for trying to leave early. You're under contract. Go ahead.
Tony, now that you said that, I read something that reminded me of what you're saying today. What do you think about? It says there are more people enslaved around the world today than any other time in human history.
Thank you.
What do you think about
Thank
that?
you.
Elaborate on that. Go a little bit deeper, Resident Joe.
I've been saying it.
But,
Yeah, basically, slavery now is mentally more than anything. So I think the world, there's more slavery now because there's more control without us even knowing, because people are turning dumber. No offense to anyone, but it's just our intelligence is
No,
lowering. So at
yeah,
least in the
because we
past,
don't
when
think of it
people
that
were
way.
slaves, they were smart. But now I feel like the slavery has a rise in other way.
so I'm pretty
What
familiar
Tony's
with that.
saying kind of brought that to mind.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that stat that you're talking about. And there's a woman, her name is Michelle Alexander. She's the author of a book called The New Jim Crow. And that particular comment that you're referring to, she actually coined that and quoted that and did some statistic on that. Well, what her statistic and her conclusion is there are literally now more black males incarcerated in America than there were throughout slavery.
Yeah,
So that is what she's talking about. Yeah.
I think I sent you an article about Rikers. I kind of wanted to show that because minorities, which is black and Latinos, are being incarcerated, and it could be we could call it modern slaveryism, where in jail system, but out here in the world, I believe we're also being enslaved, like Tony just explained. But yeah, and with that's just recently came out.
Okay, I see there's a video attached to it. Did you want me to play that video?
If I didn't see how long it was. I was reading that article today. But
Newly
with
obtained
this,
images shed more light on stomach turning conditions at Rikers.
yeah.
Oh, you know what?
So back in 2010, there was a teenager arrested. He was 16, supposedly wrongly accused for stealing a backpack, and he was there for 3 years just because the family didn't have $3,000 to bail him out.
That's the Khalid Broader story, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
That. Yeah.
So he committed suicide at 22, and I think that's how they're mentally destroying us in different ways, like Tony said, in food, controlling us, putting our man, and not only men but mainly the men in jails, destroying mentally, where they're destroying us, so we're enslaved mentally.
And think about this on that: the women, because the wife, the mother, is in jail with her child, and the wife with her husband the entire time. From the visitations, taking the phone calls, the stress of worried about them, things happening, getting down to see them, making sure the home is still being ran, making sure the kids still being taken care of. So when you put the quote unquote Negro man in jail or the brown man, you also incarcerate the family.
That's right.
The tutors that
Control
the
the
child
family.
gets from the father is from behind. Yeah, but it's behind a glass. It's behind a computer screen. It's over a phone. With telling them how much time they got. Because that is set up to destroy the home. Very few homes can still function while the husband is gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you can show the pictures, Love Doctor, but if you guys see, these people are sleeping on top of poop, like crap, and a lot of them are committing suicide, and a lot of them are wrongly accused of things that they didn't even. The family just don't. Oh, they did something minor, and families don't have $1,000 or $2,000 to bail them out.
Can you
You
all
know
hear me?
what, Resident Joe, this
Sandra Bland,
reminds
same
me
way.
of the story by I think his name is Castile Vaughn. Did you hear about that one that just came out recently?
Yeah.
That right there, you guys familiar with that Castile Vaughn too? Tony too, you heard about that one?
No, I haven't.
His story is similar to Shali Tilson. He has a similar story in regards to the Shali Tilson story or whatever. What I want to do, you guys send over some good articles. Dr. Joe, I can post more pictures if you like for me too. And Tuli, I also know that you posted a video
I
in
did.
the private chat. Whenever you want me to pull that up, then I can do it. I'm sorry, not a video, but you posted an AJC article.
Yeah, we passed it. I'm good on that.
Okay.
So it's totally up to you, but I'm good.
Okay. Well, Dr. Joe just brought up a really good issue. It's sad, but it's something that continues to goes on. It's really ridiculous. I have more
Please.
pictures that I seen more pictures rather than Joe. Do you want me to put up more pictures or more information? I seen the story. I just scrolled across the story with
I
Khalid.
believe that video was showing pictures of how they're feeding them the worst of the worst. They're committing suicide inside the jail because it's so bad. But to me, what angers me is like, okay, if these people are pedophiles, if these people are killers, all right, it's fine. Put them in those conditions. But man, that they were wrongly accused, or they went and stole food because they didn't have money. That's the people that are in Rikers jail. If you really read the history of that jail, it's not really high. They don't have criminals there
Racism, man.
that you would think leave them there. So to me, it's like and Tony said, they're separating our family. And again, money issues, right? Cannot pay the bill with $1,000, $2,000. Like this Khalif, $3,000 for supposedly stealing a backpack. It was so bad he killed himself at 22. After so many years, that's how bad it was. That's how mentally attacked this man are in this jail. Eventually, they commit suicide. So people are finally starting to speak about it, but I feel like people should be more aware. And it's mainly blacks and browns in this jail. So
Yeah, you're spot on. So two things. As you're talking, I was able to scroll over, find more articles. I have the short video clip of the Khalif Broder that you mentioned, and I also seen a video of Castillo Vaughn. Did you want me to play any of that?
the conditions will be good if you show that.
All right.
I had
The one with the conditions. The one with the conditions. It shows the condition of Khalif Vaughn is what I'm looking at right now. So this right here, what I'm about to share with you, is something really quick for Khalif. And where is it at? Thought I just had it. Yep, here it is. I found it.
The Department of Justice is now involved.
Oh my gosh.
We have been covering since last week as it relates to Mr. Vaughn, Mr. Castillo Vaughn, who is a prisoner in an Alabama state prison. I want to remind you, get you caught up, and give you a background as to what's happening now. Here's some of the background. There's a man in the Alabama state prison who is in this condition. Here it is. Look at it. You see that? You see that, right? That's not some prisoner of war. This is a man inside of an Alabama state prison. Here's what it looked like before. Okay? I'm going to give you the background to this insanity. A South Alabama woman is pleading for help after she received photos of her brother showing him in dire medical distress in a state prison. 32-year-old Costello Bond, looking well enough and healthy in that picture, which was taken July 24th. He's currently an inmate at Elmore Correctional Facility. He began serving a 20-year sentence in 2019 for multiple convictions for burglary.
Wow.
I mean,
So he's still alive and he look like that?
he's still alive,
I
correct?
mean, I'm 7.
Yeah, he's still alive.
And then you
But
want
Khalid
to start.
killed himself.
I ain't gone to state prison. I've been in jail many times. I mean, that's almost virtually impossible. They leave you like that. You're in a cell with somebody, nobody ain't saying nothing about it. No prison rubber. They don't need that kind of problem on them that you let somebody sit and die. A lot of times these guys will put themselves on starvation. I mean, he want a role model citizen, and that's me saying as a man of color. You know what they saying? Multiple conviction, you cut it off. He says conviction don't have nothing to do with it. I want to know if it's rape. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't care if you black, green, or white. If you raping women, I wouldn't feed you. I wouldn't give you nothing. And that'll just be what it is today. So I want to know, I need to hear what those convictions are. I don't believe in that. Somebody have raping babies, so what you going to say, I'm going to give him equal fair treatment? I'm going to let him live and feed him and protect him? No. The bastard need the needle. The bastard need the gag. The bastard need the chair. You raping kids and women? No, I don't have no sympathy for you whatsoever. So I heard him say he had multiple convictions. You heard burglary and stop. So maybe you thought if we kept hearing it, we'll say, well, okay, it might make some sense why he might be sitting there starving. But I know sometimes you can starve at yourself. It don't make sense. You can deny medical treatment. You get bad enough, they're gonna take you out of there. Because most prisoners ain't looking for that line. Then you're looking at suits. But anyway, what was the rest of them convictions he had?
For this guy, I didn't.
He was for parole in June. Was denied. He will be eligible again for parole consideration. Eligible distress in a state prison. 32-year-old Costello Bond, looking well enough and healthy in that picture, which was taken July 24th. He's currently an inmate at Elmore Correctional Facility. He began serving a 20-year sentence in 2019 for multiple convictions for burglary and unlawful breaking and entering a vehicle. He was up for parole in June, but was denied. He will be eligible again for parole consideration June of 2027. Now let's go back to these other pictures.
Okay. That's good. He let us know what he did. Okay, I was making sure there wasn't no rape, no child rape or nothing like that. But burglar, I mean, you're a thief. I don't see him not feeding him and doing that. Yes, sir. I see Confederate before they got something to say. Go ahead, Confederate Saint.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, yeah, I've been having a lot of difficulty, and please excuse me for that. But a lot of these prisons, too, to add to it, are privatized, and a lot of stuff goes unheard. Only because, you know, they're private-owned prisons and not state-owned, and a lot of things can go unreported and unrecognized due to the investors of these prisons. And I agree with Robert Smith that when people commit heinous crimes such as rape, child molestation, they should be treated in such a manner that they want to literally end their own lives and do society a favor. However, when the so-called Negroes living under these deplorable conditions, it's nothing new because it's no different than living in a project, living in subsidized housing, for the lack of a better term, because you see the conditions there. You're caged in. You have a warden at the guard booth that's patrolling who goes in and comes out. You have muggings and things of that nature in the community, and then you also have the slumlords that are not fixing appliances. There's no hot water, running water. things of that nature. So when sometimes for these individuals when they're incarcerated, they're actually in better living conditions than when they were on the streets. So just to say, that is, we're fighting on all fronts, and it's just us. And unfortunately for us, we're poorly educated, poorly, given every resource there is. And that's like something like that you had coined a while back, Ron Smith, when you said that they give us the worst of everything, but then they so-called give us the best of religions. And to your point, when you were talking about the reparations, I want to reiterate that we have to first be acknowledged. We have to first be recognized to get dividends, compensation, and reparations. So like they were advocating for the so-called Jew. What were they doing before 1948 when they established a land that obviously doesn't belong to them? So everybody gets compensated and things of that nature except us. And they want to talk about giving emotional reparations. How is that so when you're gunning our young men and women down in the streets? You're raping them. They're pulled over. They're not given a fair chance to even go into a court of law that's a kangaroo court, to say the least. So like I say, it's so refreshing to know that we have people such as you four that are giving prevalent information to this platform and to the culture, that we can make changes. And no matter how minute it may seem, you guys are doing something that few are actually doing, and with very little support. And I say little support because there should be more done supporting Two Mics in the Mind. And with that being said, hit that like button, hit that subscription, hit that share, hit that cash out. And I thank you all tonight for having me on. I'm fortunate enough to have my 53rd birthday.
Hey.
And this is one of the highlights of my day, being able to be in the presence of so many people that are hard, such as you all. This is Confederate State 48 saying that we are harb you all. You all call it love, but we are harb you all. Miss Tooley, Resident Joe, Love Doctor, Smith, take us home. 48, 48 signing off.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday.
birthday.
Yeah.
Our Big Cookie birthday was Sunday, 25th?
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
Mine's
Yours is coming
22nd.
up next month, the 22nd.
That's right.
On the last day they said October. For being
That's
legal,
right.
I know we got that balance. I know that's why you got that good balance. Yeah, we got some stuff too. Also, we're gonna
Miss
be a
Tooley.
nice that's supposed to be good for council.
Yes, sir.
What I meant to say is I wanted to commemorate you and acknowledge you for being such an industrial lady. Well, as Tony Smith had mentioned earlier in the segment, he said, and this is just my personal opinion, there is a distinction between a woman and a lady. Every little girl that grows up can grow up to be a woman, but I don't believe that every woman can grow up to be a lady just as well as every young man can grow up to be a man, but not a gentleman. So to sum it up in a nutshell, I'm in the presence of men, real gentlemen, real women, and real ladies. Again, Confederate State 48 signing out. I'll hug you all.
Oh man, appreciate you.
That's very true. Very true.
Just the country we live in. Until we do something different, there won't be no change. That's how we're gonna get things better. We gotta first address a problem. That's why I said before, trying to make any kind of communication to white America about, our intent. I think we need to first talk. We need to really sit and talk. I mean, talk in a way where we don't accuse each other, but we stand up and acknowledge what we know we've done. And we start our conversation off with, I see you doing wrong, we ain't gonna get nothing right. We start off with what I've done wrong, what I've come to realize, where I'm at now, And in order for us to exist, continue to exist, I mean, even in the animal kingdom, it's a rule that someone has to lead. You know, there's not an animal kingdom where every animal makes the decision. If you're going to be in a group, someone has to lead. Everyone has a role they play, and it's for the existence and the furtherance of. So we have to be willing, even the men, and say, "I'll consent to, I'll adjust to, and I'll change and I'll do for the existence of our people." Then we can really sit down and congregate and discuss with other nationalities and other groups on what we all need to do. But until we can all sit down as a group, I mean, there's not another ethnicity that doesn't have somewhere to root to. We have nowhere to. We got to root all the way across somewhere way back off that don't recognize. And it's we so many different groups, so we don't know what group really we go back to and say, "Hey, I'm from here. How you doing, mom? How you doing, dad?" Everyone has that, and that's a fear for us, and it's hurt us, and in us, you know, advancing. We don't need funding for school, funding for medicine. We need to fund ourselves to find out who we are, fix that problem, and then we can talk and fix everything else we got going on. But that's just me.
Right.
What y'all think? Our time, why our time?
I feel like people need to get out of that slavery, mental slavery, and work on themselves and work on ourselves.
Yep.
I think every race ought to talk. Everybody ought to talk, because you can't be a better for anybody else till you're better for yourself. Like people say, I'm trying to get my better half, or somebody might say, my wife is my better half, my husband my better half. Why aren't you better? Because they should be saying the same thing about you. Both of you should be better. There shouldn't be no lesson into where you can go and how you can grow and where you can be. And we have to expand how we really see things. It's really hurt us. We in such disarray. Our answer not in his culture books. Our answer is not in his religion. Our answer is not in his governing. We have to get back to what really makes us tick, so we can click and start getting this thing together. But I know I gotta go. I know time winding down, but again, I can't say enough. Everybody out there who don't feel like nobody loves them, listen, you are loved. Anybody asks you, do you mind? You tell them you always mind. Every Thursday, right here on Two Mics and My Mind. Hey, if nobody else tells you they love you, hey, we love you. And our language is called the heart. To the love doctor, Resident Joe, take us home.
Yeah.
Really do. All right. Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success.
Say that again.
Coming together is the beginning. Seconds. Keeping together is progress, and working together is success.
Coming together, keeping together, working together.
There you
That's
go.
what it's all about.
That's all we need. Let's make success out there. Finally, she said something that we didn't have to sit back and have to figure, what in the world did she just say?
Because you wore your,
we need to go and love Dr. Sweater.
You wore your thinking caps. Thank you.
Blood red shirt on the green doodle green couch is really terrible. I just want to put that out there from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of somebody somebody buka bottom. Let me call it, but from somebody buka bottom, that sweater along with that puke green can really, it's hurt my eye. It's like my eyes want to vomit. I just can't get the right fluids to come out. So I'm kind of stuck out of disarray right now. Anytime you want to get rid of them sweaters, I mean, I'm gonna be glad. Just wear a V-neck or something. Just do something. I mean, it's just ugly. What color is the sofa? And the wall is white.
Black.
It really shows the tomato juice of the sweater.
Right,
and it really shows how much tomato juice that sweater is really made out of.
Wow.
Well, y'all who don't know, I work the behind the scenes, the sound quality, the switching, the inviting guests in and out and all that stuff. And I have it's a lot back here in the back. And Mr. Tony, he keep hating on my shirt, but I'm gonna see what I can do to get him one. His birthday's coming up, and we're gonna see if we get
Give
him
me
some
one.
turtleneck.
Give
I
me
know that's
two.
what he wants.
So when I mess on one, I can throw up on the other one and cover it up. So go ahead and get it. Mess on one, I'm gonna throw up on the other one, and then I'm gonna get some dirt and bury both of them.
Hilarious.
Right here on To My
That
Son
being
Mind.
said, Tula, you ready to take us home, everybody?
Thank you so much.
We're about to take it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Dr. Joe's Reparations on the radio. The love got me going live on the radio. Two mics and the mind on the radio.
And the mind.
All right, you do something better. I'll do something better, and we'll be better together. Until next week. Good night. Love her.
Good night, Julie.